Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mini Scroll, the daily internet culture podcast bringing you the biggest stories from social media, the creator economy, and the digital space every Monday through Thursday. I'm your host, Lauren Meisner, the founder of the youth digital media brand, Centennial World. Welcome back to Mini Scroll, everyone. And before I get into the stories for today, I wanted to say something very exciting, just a little tidbit. It's like small, but one of my listeners messaged me yesterday saying, "Oh my God, do you listen to the Who Weekly podcast?" Because they mentioned Infinite Scroll in their latest episode. So I listened and I heard the little segment and it was so sweet. They talked about how one of their friends loves Infinite Scroll, the podcast, my podcast, I assume. So if you are that friend who loves Infinite Scroll and you've been talking about us with your friends, thank you so much because it was so exciting to hear that mention. Who Weekly is obviously a really big podcast in the US. And yeah, it was just exciting to hear that little bit of love. All right, so I have like 2.5 stories for you guys today. So the first story, obviously, we need to talk about how Brianna Chickenfry and Zach Bryan have split after over a year of dating. So yesterday, obviously I didn't do mini and this all happened yesterday and I was like, what a day. What a day to not be doing my daily internet culture news podcast. So yesterday, country singer Zach Bryan announced on his Instagram stories that he had split from Brianna Chickenfry. And I was just talking to the girls that work for me at the office before I came to record, and we were joking about how like we are probably one of the only podcasts, like pop culture-y podcasts, that would like explain who Zach Bryan is and not explain who Brianna Chickenfry is. Okay, so Zach wrote this on his Instagram stories. Oh, also, I'm in another blazer moment. Sorry, I forgot to address it. I'm going to a fashion show after work for like a brand, like a L'Oreal event. And it's a fashion show and it's cocktail attire and it's freezing in this office. So that's why I'm looking so formal. Because I feel like every time I'm not in activewear and sweater, it looks a little bit out of place for the pod. But anyways, that is why. Okay, so Zach wrote on his Instagram stories addressing something. Brianna and me have broken up with each other and I respect and love her with every ounce of my heart. She has loved me unconditionally for a very long time and for that I'll always thank her. I have had an incredibly hard year personally and struggled through some pretty severe things. I thought it would be beneficial for both of us to go our different ways. I am not perfect and never will be. Please respect Brianna's privacy and space in this, and if you have it in your heart, mine too. With everything I am and to anyone I let down, I am sorry. I try my best in everything. I failed people that love me and mostly myself. I will say people have been comparing this statement to the statement he made when he broke up with Deb, who was his, I think, like longtime girlfriend, maybe fiance. No, he was married before Deb. Sorry, I don't know the Zach Bryan lore very well, but I know that Deb was the woman that he was dating, I believe, before Brianna, and everybody has been saying that Brianna's like, quote unquote, like copying her. I don't subscribe to that, but the statement is similar in the sense that in the statement that he made when he broke up with Deb, he said the same thing of like, she's loved me through something. And then he said something about like, please respect Deb's privacy at this time. Like just trying to be, it's giving like Jax Taylor. Like it's giving toxic guy that wants to be seen as this like martyr, as like the good guy. And so says stuff like that and like loves to take blame because then he can be the wounded guy that just like, is so messed up and knows that he is and wants to be better, but like just keeps messing up and getting in his own way and like can't figure it out. Like he can be that guy. Like he can be that like wounded little bird. That's what it's giving me. But again, I don't know the Zach Bryan lore that well. And then Brianna like almost immediately posted on her stories and she wrote, "Hey guys, I'm feeling really blindsided right now. Gonna hop off social media for a while and attempt to heal privately. When I'm ready, I'll be back and ready to talk. I love you guys so much. Thank you all for your kind words. Remember, you are so loved and everything's always gonna be okay." So people were like, oh my God, like blindsided in the sense of blindsided by this breakup, or blindsided that he posted about the breakup. So she then posted a YouTube video confirming that no, he did not break up with her over an Instagram story. He announced it publicly and she was not made aware of that. She said that she found out because people were messaging her. He did not tell her that he was going to post this. And they had only broken up the day before.
Zach posting on his Instagram that we broke up, and I had no idea that post was going up. He didn't text me, he didn't call me. I just woke up to a bunch of texts being like, are you okay? And I'm like, did my fucking dad die? And yeah, so I'm like completely blindsided by that. You see how swollen my face is? I've been crying for like 5 days straight. Sorry if this video is gonna be a lot of jumping around, but I'm at the point where it's like, how can you give someone everything and like love them so unconditionally, like through stuff that you shouldn't, because you just love them and you want them, like you see the good in them. Like how can you, this is so embarrassing. But I don't give a fuck. How can you like give every ounce of yourself to someone and then like be discarded of in a few days? It's really, really heartbreaking, and I don't want to talk about details right now. I don't want to talk about it yet. I will, obviously, but right now, like, I wanted to heal privately, and I didn't even know that he was gonna post that. And we broke up yesterday.
Something that's being missed, I think, in some of the recounts of this situation is that it seems like Zach addressed his breakup one day after he was spotted on Raya. So he was spotted on Raya. These could be fake screenshots, but there were screenshots going around TikTok, Twitter, and Reddit of him on Raya. And then like the next day or like a few hours later, he posted that he and Brianna had broken up. So then Brianna said in her YouTube video that they'd only been broken up the day before when he posted that. So the day he broke up with Brianna, he went on Raya, presumably, allegedly. So Brianna has been offline. She's had some people posting on her stories and just saying like, you know, Brianna's not online, but like she's checking in. She is going to be back on the podcast next Wednesday. So she's just taking like, it seems about a week off to just kind of like deal with this. And I can't imagine what it would be like to have to deal with like a breakup on social media like that, especially when it wasn't something that you wanted. And then your ex who broke up with you after, I would say we all kind of know as like fans or peripheral fans, like we know that he didn't seem to treat her the best. There were always like lots of rumors about cheating and things like that. And, you know, he did seem to be in like kind of a difficult place the last few months, just from his social media activity we'd seen and stuff. So anyways, I think having to deal with this now so publicly when you did not choose the breakup, but you also had no idea that they were going to make it public so soon after, that would be very difficult. Now, Dave Portnoy has entered the chat. Dave is obviously Brianna's, boss, her boss, and has been for a long time, her boss, her friend. They do BFFs together. And he tweeted dedicating this to @Brianna Chickenfry on Twitter. And he linked the song The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived by Taylor Swift. And then a very rogue tidbit that I don't think I will ever get over. Today, Us Weekly published an article called Is Brianna's Last Name Actually Chickenfry? What? I feel like that Trisha Paytas sound, like that TikTok sound where she's like, huh? What? Oh, okay. Like that's how my brain felt when I read that headline. I was like, excuse me. What? That's why the work that we do here at Infinite Scroll and Mini Scroll is so important. So that we don't have pop culture journalists writing articles like, is Brianna's last name actually Chickenfry? Okay. Okay, the next thing that I wanted to very quickly touch on, this is like the half of the 2.5 stories, is that people are kind of up in arms because Colleen Ballinger was asked to and did speak at a high school recently. And I have not really dove into like the specifics of it. So this is going to be quite high level because I just thought it is kind of like a random tidbit story. So some people felt like the high school is being dismissive of like everything that happened in how they framed the talk and also, you know, in inviting her in general. And I actually think like now that we've had some distance from the Colleen situation, it's been over, well, I guess it's been almost a year and a half in December. From when everything first started. I think, it's interesting to look back because I believe in second chances. Depends what the person's done, but like I genuinely and generally do believe in second chances for people. I think when you live your youth out online, I think when you live so much of your life out online, you're publishing so frequently, publicly in general, you're going to mess up. There's going to be things that you're not proud of. Again, within reason. But I think in many instances, what matters more is, how those people end up moving on from that situation, reacting to that situation, addressing that situation, and also just like showing us, even if they haven't been called out, how their behavior changes over the years. Like people do change and evolve, and people's beliefs change and their opinions on things change, especially as they get older. That aside, looking back at the Colleen Ballinger situation, it is like the Twilight Zone. I cannot believe that woman sat on the internet and quite literally mocked all of these people that were calling her out, not just the people that she hurt, like not just her fans, but just everyone in general who was saying, hey, this behavior was not okay. Like, what is going on? How did we not see this? How did you not see that this was inappropriate when you were a grown woman? And she quite literally sat on the internet and mocked everyone to their faces with a made-up children's song. And then after that was just like, hey, I'm back to vlogging. And yeah, maybe that wasn't like the best move, but I still really didn't do anything wrong. Like, sorry. So yeah, like, do I think that Colleen Ballinger should be speaking at high schools? No. Not because there are kids involved and, I think anything weird's going to happen there. I just think she doesn't deserve opportunities like that. She doesn't deserve to be platformed, and there's not even words for how little accountability she took because she really just like laughed at everybody. So that's my opinion on that. The last story that I wanted to talk about. So I wanted to address this tweet that is going viral. It has a stat. So this is going to sound a bit complicated until I explain it. So this tweet has a stat from the Wall Street Journal in it. And so this tweet reads, insane stat from the Wall Street Journal that there are like 12 million full-time influencers in the US right now. That's 7% of the American workforce. No way a bubble like that is at all sustainable. So this tweet has over 1 million views. It is, like I said, going viral, and everyone's kind of debating if this is really a bubble, like what that stat really means. So I wanted to look into it further because I thought this is a very interesting tidbit. Okay, so according to a report from the Keller Advisory Group titled Creators Uncovered Insights from a Nationally Representative Study of U.S. Creators, they found out that out of 27 million paid creators in the U.S., quote, it is a full-time job for 44% of them, which is 11.6 million, with 32%, which is 8.5 million, doing it part-time, and 24%, 6.5 million, doing it as a hobby. That is a lot of hobbyists. That is also a lot of people doing full-time influencing. According to the report, quote, full-timers earn $179,000 per year versus $36,000 for part-timers and $16,000 for hobbyists. So to put it into perspective, the 27 million paid content creators also represents 6% of Americans aged 16 to 54. When it comes to earnings, the average income for creators is $93,000 per year. However, this figure is skewed by top creators landing like six-figure brand deals and things like that. So it doesn't accurately reflect what most creators are making. It may be more accurate to look at the median, which sits around $10,000. As the report notes that approximately, quote, half of creators make less than $10,000 per year and 1/3 make under $2,000 a year. So, yes, this tweet was going viral and I was like, I need to look into these stats more. This sounds so vague. And like, how is that possible? The tweet feels like rage bait. I don't think it is. I do not think that the original tweeter was trying to post anything inflammatory. I think that they were really just reading this like one-off stat in this article and we're like, holy shit, this bubble is gonna burst. And we've been talking about the influencer bubble bursting for a really long time. So he was like, this is not sustainable. And, it became this huge debate. However, when you look at the stats, it's clear that the actual money flowing into the creator economy is less than what that overarching stat might suggest or what you might imply from that. We think of like influencers and creators as multimillionaires, but most of them are just, if they are full-time, are making like middle of the road or slightly like better than middle of the road salaries. But still 11 million or nearly 12 million full-time creators in the US, that still sounds like a giant number. However, that's also not taking into account how many jobs in multimedia, for example, could now be classified as like creators or even influencers. If you think about like filmmakers or people that are trying to break into that entertainment space, they might be creating their own work for themselves and posting that on YouTube and on TikTok, and they're making money from, AdSense or TikTok Creator Fund or even brand deals. But they, in years past, before social media, would have been working in TV and film, and they're using that to still work in TV and film or trying to work in TV and film, but they're making their own work to be able to have this portfolio, and therefore they are being labeled as like a creator or like an influencer because they're making money from social media by creating content, right? So I think when we hear stats like this, it's important to like dive into it a little bit more, especially because influencers, creators, like there's just such a stigma attached to their lifestyle, their income, how they make their money. And I think when you break it down a little bit more like this, it helps us digest. But regardless, like the creator economy, she's thriving. And I don't see this bubble bursting. Like the creator economy has replaced a lot of traditional media advertising, like I said, TV and film, production roles. It's replaced so much, or it's at least complementing so much. And it's not all just like brands funneling money into this, right? Like a lot of it is from the platforms themselves, like YouTube, TikTok, I don't know, subscription models, things like that. So I just thought that was an interesting report to look at. Anyways, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening to Mini Scroll. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. It helps us so much. It helps us grow. Please star rate us on Spotify. We're trying to get our star ratings up on Spotify. I love you guys. There will be a deep dive tomorrow, and I will talk to you on Monday. Bye.